Hello everyone and welcome back to Three-Legged Dog Yoga. If you're new here, I am Lindsay and I will be your teacher for today's class. Today we will be looking at balance. We'll be practicing a few balancing postures, nothing crazy. We won't be doing any vinyasas or anything like that. It is beginner friendly. I do recommend having a couple of blocks nearby. Very helpful in today's practice as we do move through different postures that show us how we balance and where we balance in the body. That all being said, before we get into it, if you do enjoy these classes, please do comment, like, or subscribe. Subscribing really helps us get more yoga to more people. And commenting, I just would love to hear from you guys. What do you like? What do you not like? Is there any classes you want to see? Please do let me know. All right, let's get right to it. For today's class, let's keep our blocks at the top of the mat accessible. So keep them close by. We'll begin today on hands and knees, coming through some cat-cow. So shoulders are over the wrists, hips are over the knees, toes are tucked. Let's just take a few cleansing breaths here first before we get into any movement. So take a big breath in, exhale, sigh it out. One more like that. Inhale, big breath in, exhale, sigh it out. Next inhale, let's drop the belly, arch the back, look up. And exhale, round it all out. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale to round. Inhale. Two more after this one, just like this. On your own time. And when you're finished, we'll meet back in tabletop position. So let's shift the weight into that right hand. Stretch the left foot out behind us. Inhale, lift it up. We're just going to stay here for a moment. And then we're going to shift our weight back into the middle. And as we do so, let's lift that right arm up. Reaching out the tips of the fingers to the ball of the foot. Breathing nice and bright. And using that left hand to really grip the mat, finding that balance, finding that core engagement. And then we'll exhale, release, and switch sides. So we'll start by shifting the weight just over to the left hand. Take that right leg out behind you. Breath here. Shift the weight back to center. Lift the leg. And we'll lift that left hand, reaching out ahead of you. See up and down, see how you can control the movement. So trying to keep nice and strong, core is engaged, that whole leg is pressing out and that left arm is reaching forward. And exhale, come back down to center. Pivot the right knee. Let's take a step out with our left foot. Inhale that right arm up. So left foot is in line with that right knee. That right foot is acting as our anchor, and our left hand is reaching up towards the sky. If you want to add on a little bit, try lifting that left leg. See if you can keep your balance here, not pressing too much into that right hand. We're not dumping into that right hand. Breath stays nice and full. And then exhale, drop that foot down, and with control, let's place that left hand back down on the mat and switch sides. So coming back through center, pivot on that left knee, step the right foot out in line with the body, and then inhale, right arm up to the sky. Same thing here, option to lift that back leg, playing with that balance a little bit more. Really squeezing into that glute, keeping the core engaged. Breathing. And then with control, drop that right foot, right hand comes down, spin it back down to tabletop. Tuck the toes if they're not already tucked, and send the hips back up for downward facing dog. Just taking a moment to pedal out here. Maybe shifting the hips side to side. Just finding any movements your body might crave before finding some stillness for a few breaths. So really pressing those fingers into the mat. Keeping those hands working. And sending those hips up to the sky. On our next inhale, let's gaze between the hands, step the right foot up, drop the back knee, untuck the toes, and then we'll come up Anjaneyasana, low lunge on the right side. So if you need any padding on the right knee, you can just flip the mat over, the left knee, just flip the mat under, bring the double mat under the knee, reaching those arms up nice and high. Let's drop the right hand to the right thigh, and as we inhale, shift the weight over to the right side, so that left arm's coming over the right side. That left hip is pressing just gently out to the left. Inhale, come back through center, draw both the arms up, and then we'll exhale, just twist it out to the right hand side. Right arm reaches back towards the back of the room. Couple breaths here. Core stays lifted. And then let's drop that right hand, wait for your next inhale, and send that left hand up over top. If you feel like you're wobbling too much, just shuffle that right foot out a little bit, widen the stance. If you feel like it's not challenging enough, do the opposite. And then exhale, let's plant the hands, step that foot back, and send the hips back up for downward facing dog. Awesome. Switching sides. So gaze between the hands, take a big step up, drop the knee, untuck the toes, come all the way up, low lunge. Couple breaths here. Taking a moment to flip the mat if you need that extra padding. And then let's drop that left hand down. Right hand comes up and over. Send those right hips just a little bit over to the right side. Keeping the balance, finding a nice drishti, point of focus. Inhale, arms come back up. And exhale, bring the twist over to the left side. So left hand reaches towards the back of the room. And then drop that left hand to the right thigh. Inhale that right arm up and over. Exhale, let's cartwheel those hands, step it back, downward facing dog. 2 big breaths here. And we will add on. So let's inhale, take a big step up with the right foot in between the hands this time. Keep that left knee up and come up high lunge. So sink into those hips. So here, same thing as when we were in the low lunge. If you need to find a little bit more balance, widen the stance. And if you find it a little too easy, narrow the stance. So bring the feet closer together. So wherever you are, staying up here, you may want to reach for your block. If you're a little wobbly, keep it at your side. And let's bring our right hand to our thigh. Inhale that left arm up and over. If you want to reach for that block, if it helps, it's there for you. Might be a little bit far for some, but do as you need. And then inhale, come back up. Exhale, let's bring that twist. Right arm comes back. Again, playing with the balance here. Challenge yourself, maybe bring the feet a little bit closer together. And then let's inhale, drop that back arm back, down to the thigh. Inhale that left arm up and over. Inhale, cartwheel the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Just take a moment, pedal out those feet. And then we'll switch sides. So inhale that left foot up, high lunge, keep the knee up in the back. And then exhale, come down. Again, if you needed that block, let's place it beside us. Get it prepared if we need it. Let's drop that left hand down to the left thigh. Inhale that right arm up and over. If you feel a little tired here, the option to drop the back knee is always there. Inhale, come back up through center. Raise the left arm. Exhale, twist it out. Awesome work. Feel the burn in those legs. And then drop that left arm back, right arm comes up and over. Cartwheel the hands down, step it back, and we'll just drop the knees nice and wide, come down to child's pose. Release the forehead to the mat, and just take a moment, catch the breath. Try to relax the body. And just feel into the legs. Feel all that heat and all that blood flowing. One more breath. And then inhale, let's shuffle forward. Come back up to downward facing dog. And then we'll just walk our hands forward. These are our feet. Walk our feet forward to meet our hands. Staying here for a moment. Let's grab opposite elbows. And we'll just shuffle side to side. So really feel into where your leg muscles engage. So maybe your quadricep, your calf muscle, or any one of our little ones, smaller ones I should say, that connect. And just feel what engages as we shift side to side. What stabilizes us. And maybe bring it forward and back. And then find some stillness before we roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Nice and slowly. Coming all the way up to standing. Awesome. So staying forwards on your mat, we're going to come into our half moon. Sorry, this says half moon. I read half moon. We're going to come into our tree. So I'm just going to face you for a moment. So let's start by shifting the weight into our right foot. Roll the shoulders up and back. Big breath. And then we'll slowly start lifting that right foot up. So you can start here, start with the foot, the toes still on the floor, the heel, the bottom of the leg. Or you can slowly start moving that heel up towards the inner thigh. Once again, find your drishti, find your point of focus. Option to bring the hands at heart center or to make a tree nice and big with your arms up overhead. Wherever you are, find that point of focus. Once again, feel every part of your foot that's working to keep you stabilized. Feel the core as it engages. And just take a moment to realize how, if you dart your eyes around, how much harder it becomes to keep your balance. And as we do that, let's exhale, hands back to heart center if they weren't there already. And we'll release the foot, keep the leg up, and we're just going to keep that leg out to the side. So staying with that balance, finding that point of focus. And then slowly release the leg. Just take a moment, shake the legs out, and we will switch sides. Awesome. So shift the weight into the right foot. Once again, let's start with our foot, left foot attached, the heel to the ankle, left heel to the right ankle. Inhale, roll the shoulders up and back. And then with control, let's start lifting that left foot, finding the inner thigh. Again, hands can come to heart center or up overhead. Once again, finding that drishti. Or if you'd like to challenge yourself, start looking up. Maybe even close the eyes. Or I find it even harder challenge to look around. Try not to focus on something for a second. And then come back to your drishti. And feel that right foot working. It is trying hard to keep your balance. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release that left foot. Keep the leg out where it is. Press it out maybe a little bit more to the left side. Keep that breath nice and full. If you feel like you're going to fall, just come back into it. And then exhale. release. Once again, shaking out those legs. And we'll just take a moment in Tadasana. So feet are hips distance, roll the shoulders back, palms are facing forward. And just feel into the legs, feel the body. Notice any changes that may have occurred. Notice if there's parts of your legs that you didn't notice before that were working. All of those muscles and tendons and ligaments working together to keep you balanced. And then coming back, we're going to come through a warrior three. So if you're near a wall, maybe take a little step back. Let's keep our blocks close to us, just ahead of us, maybe about a hand's distance ahead of us. And we'll start by shifting the weight into the left foot. So take a big inhale, roll the shoulders up and back, and we'll just lift that right knee up in front of us. Finding that drishti, challenge yourself, straighten the leg, and then exhale. Very slowly pendulum the leg back. And as we do so, let's find the blocks ahead of us. If you don't need the blocks, that's totally fine, don't use them. But if you don't regularly use blocks, I always find that warrior three is really nice to have some blocks because you can really work on getting your form. So hips are staying square. Let's reach out with that right foot. Crown of the head stays lifted. Micro bend in that left knee. And then on our next inhale, let's roll that right hip open. Keep that left hand on the block. If you need a little more balance, it might help to move it just out a little bit to the left side. And then we'll slowly roll that right shoulder up and open. So find that spot with the left hand that feels good for you. Gaze can either stay down to the mat or anywhere up towards the ceiling. Choose your own adventure. Wherever you're looking, find that comfortable spot. Focus there. And then with control, let's start by bringing our right hand down and then very slowly pendulum that right leg back down to meet the left. Awesome. Coming back up to standing, nothing too fancy. We will switch sides. So let's shift the weight to the right foot. Start by inhaling that left leg up. One breath, hold. Straighten the leg as a challenge before we start penduluming that leg. Before we start shifting that weight back and come into our warrior three. So once again, check in with the hips. They're nice and square. That left leg isn't rolling open. And then we're pressing out through that back heel as we reach the crown of the head away from us. Micro bend in that right knee. So we're not locking that knee, that bottom knee. Keep those hamstrings working here. And then slowly, with control, open that left hip up to the sky. And if you'd like to add on with the arm, bring the left arm up to meet it. If you feel like you're going to fall out of it, just come back into it. Find your focus. And each day will be different. Some days you'll be able to balance no problem. Another you might fall on your face, so no stress. And then exhale with control. Let's first place that left hand down and then slowly meet the left foot to the right. Big inhale here and then exhale. Just sit right down. We can place those blocks out of the way. They have served us for today. And we'll shift down. Just come all the way down to the back. And just take a moment here. Feet come nice and wide. Let the knees fall together. Slow down the breath. Feel that heart pumping. And then just feel it as it slows down as we start relaxing. Let's bring the feet back to center, shuffle the hips over to the left side, and we'll just drop the knees over to the right side. Maybe bringing the arms to cactus or out beside you, and option to gaze over that left shoulder. Finding your point of focus, or maybe just softly closing the eyes here. Inhale, head and neck come back to center, shuffle the hips, and we will switch sides. So let's draw the hips over to the right side, knees over to the left, and then bring that gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Shuffle those hips back to neutral. And let's find the toes with the fingers, the index and the middle fingers, coming into happy baby. So try to keep the sacrum, the lower back, down towards the mat as we just start shifting side to side. Maybe kicking the feet a little bit. Finding your version, finding what feels good in this posture for you today. And then maybe finding some stillness. And eventually let's release the toes, and we'll just give ourselves a big hug here. Once again, taking a moment, maybe just massaging the back a little bit. Making little circles with the knees, one way or the other. And then eventually let's find the hands to the back of the thighs. And we'll roll ourselves up to seated. Coming into a comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's close the eyes. And we'll close our practice today with one cleansing breath. So exhale all the air out. Big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Softly opening the eyes. That is all for today's practice. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.